Hey guys, welcome back to another webcam review on the channel, and today we are going to talk about the Ausdom AW651 versus the Logitech C922 Pro. And the reason that we're going to compare these two webcams today is because the Ausdom AW651 is the latest webcam from Ausdom that features up to 2K HDR resolution, and it also supports video streaming at 1080p at 60 frames per second, as opposed to the Logitech C922 Pro, which is of course more expensive than this model. It only supports up to 1080p video streaming, and the 60 frames per second video streaming is only limited at 720p. So let's find out which one is the better streaming camera. This video is brought to you by Good Deals by KLGG, which is our official e-store for shopping your favorite gadgets. Grab essential work from home deals at our store and get 10 ringgit off your first purchase and free shipping every time you shop with us. Visit the link below to find out more. Now, before we get to compare the video quality between these two webcams, let's talk a little bit about their hardware. Now, if you can see over here, the AW651 is a more compact webcam compared to the C922 Pro. And I'm liking the fact that the AW651 has a nicer finishing right over here. It's not glossy, so it will not attract any scratches in the long term, whereas the C922 Pro has a glossy surface where it will attract greases, dust, and scratches, which will not look nice at all. Now, the reason why the C922 Pro is actually slightly larger, which I assume is because it has dual stereo microphones right over here, which requires some space, whereas the Ausdom AW651 doesn't have that stereo microphone right inside. So voice is recorded through the mono channel, which might sound a little worse, but I'm assuming that that's fine. Mics are supposed to be mono anyway. Now, one thing that I really like about the AW651 compared to the C922 Pro is that it has this privacy shutter built in. Now, this is one thing really important for people these days, because I know some of you do not like your webcam to be turned on all the time, and you might be afraid of someone hacking into your computer and access your webcam. So having this privacy shutter built in is definitely a good thing. Whereas for the C922 Pro, the only thing that you can do is to unplug the webcam or put a sticker right over it, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a webcam on your computer. Now, these two webcams can definitely be mounted on tripods, and they even come with their respective tripods. And personally, I prefer Logitech's tripod right over here, because there is actually a two-step height here. You can actually push it in, and it goes as small as like this, and you can pull out, and the second level just like this. Whereas Ausdom's tripod will only have one level of height adjustment, which is why you can see that it's slightly shorter. Otherwise, if you don't want both of these tripods, just get another one. It's pretty cheap out there. Now, mounting on tripods, one benefit that the AW651 over the C922 Pro is the angle adjustment. Now, both will have this kind of tilted adjustment as well, but the Ausdom AW651 can be turned into the left side or the right side, so which makes the placement of the webcam more flexible in some ways, but you can't tilt the webcam that much. You can just only tilt it a little bit to adjust your angle, so you got to depend on this clamp right over here to adjust the webcam angle if you happen to mount it on top of the monitor screen. Whereas the Logitech C922 Pro, you can definitely adjust the tilt angle pretty easily, but you can't turn either left or right. So both have its pros and cons, and it really depends on what you want. Now, this is the video recording sample of the AW651 webcam, which I'm using the built-in Windows camera app to do this recording. Now, I'm now recording at 1080p resolution at 60 frames per second, which you can see is pretty smooth right now, and I'm really liking the color reproduction this webcam has, and it has this great beautify feature that smooths your face naturally, and is enabled by default whether you like it or not. There's no way to disable it. Now, note that I'm now in this up close field of view because I need to have this mode enabled in order to record 60 frames per second. Now, there is a wide angle view that goes up to 65 degrees, so to enable it, you just have to press the button right behind the webcam, just like this. Alright, there you go. I'm now in the 65-degree field of view angle, which is a wide angle view, but now the recording frame rate has reduced to 30 frames per second. I'm not sure what is that theory behind Ausdom's reason for doing this, because I personally feel that the 60 frames per second mode could really be enabled on both field of view, because who doesn't like smooth frame rates when they are in wide angle view, right? So yeah, this is how the image quality of the AW651 is. And now let's switch over to the Logitech C922 Pro. And now we are recording this video using the C922 Pro at 1080p resolution at 30 frames per second. Now I'm not going to do any 60 frames per second recording right here, because it would be unfair for the C922 Pro, since it will be recording at a lower resolution at 720p, which looks crappy and it's something that you probably wouldn't want to use it at all. But in terms of image quality when it comes to 1080p, I really like Logitech's color tuning right over here over the Ausdom AW651, because this is what the actual room lighting and color temperature actually is, and Logitech has actually got that right, all thanks to its auto light correction feature that actually works pretty well. And the stereo microphones also work pretty well. As you can hear, the sound is actually pretty clear and definitely feels a lot more dynamic compared to the Ausdom's mono recording sound quality. So yeah, this is a pretty quick comparison between these two webcams. Overall, both webcams offer really good image quality and they definitely look better than any laptop webcams out there. But between these two webcams, I would personally go for the AW651 because of its higher resolution and 1080p 60 frames per second streaming over the Logitech C922 Pro's 720p resolution. And of course, the price is a big deciding factor, because the AW651 retails at 299 ringgit as opposed to the C922 Pro's more expensive price tag at 489 ringgit. So, if you would like to purchase the AW651, we are actually selling at our store at Good Deals by KLGG at 299 ringgit, and you get 10 ringgit off your first purchase when you make that purchase on our e-store for the very first time. So that's pretty much for the comparison video for today. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, do leave them down in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe for more videos coming right up. Give us a thumbs up if you like what you saw, and make sure you follow us on the usual social media places. I'm Warren with KLGadgetTV, and I will see you in our next video.